The worldwide economy is taking massive hits from this disease. The International Air Transport Association predicts global airlines alone could lose up to $113 billion in sales. Here at home, there could also be major economic impacts. Michael Couture now on what the federal government can do ahead of this spring's budget.
Good afternoon, Columbus Travel.
It's not something you hear very often these days at Angela Maynardi's travel agency. The phone hasn't been ringing as fears of COVID-19 and the actual virus spread.
This will be the straw that broke the camel's back. I mean, this year, if this continues on, inevitably there are people who can't survive through this.
Global tourism will take a hit if COVID-19 can't be contained. It's bad news for Canada's tourism industry, which is worth about $102 billion, according to the Tourism Industry Association of Canada. A chunk of that loss will be in cruise ships. The Port of Vancouver is a hub. But Saturday, BC's health minister issued a strong warning against traveling on cruise ships. And cruise companies are being forced to adjust.
We have a Book with Confidence program, so if you do book today and you're unsure for whatever reason, you can make an adjustment because things are changing day to day.
Other sectors may not be as flexible, and those are top of mind for the finance minister as he continues to craft a federal budget which may include financial help for those affected by COVID-19.
You know, we have a strong fiscal position, so we're prepared in terms of the actual health risks, but we have a strong position fiscally so that we can actually take measures as needed as the facts come out.
But the Conservatives disagree, saying by running up large deficits in their first mandate, the Liberal government is not prepared to deal with the new coronavirus or the rail blockades.
They eliminated the cushion long ago, and they've put us in a place of weakness and vulnerability as we face these two crises.
Morneau contends Canada is in a good position, pointing to the more than 30,000 jobs that were added to the economy in February. But in an interview on the West Block with Mercedes Stephenson, this senior economist at TD Bank says the finance minister is taking a narrow view of things.
We take a broader picture. We had a very soft end to last year. Business investment, just really failing to deliver for several years now. And then you have other interruptions, rail blockades, weather, things like that. We're talking about, really not a lot of growth buffer as we move into the year.
Expect that to be a central theme when provincial and territorial leaders meet with the federal government at the end of next week in Ottawa. It's an opportunity for all levels of government to discuss the response to COVID-19 so far and the next steps as the outbreak widens. Robin?
Michael Couture in Ottawa. Italy's government has imposed strict quarantine measures on a quarter of the population to slow the spread of COVID-19. Tonight, 14 provinces have been isolated, mainly in Italy's north. The whole of Lombardy, its financial capital Milan, and tourist hubs like Modena and Venice all have travel bans. The 16 million people stuck there can't get out, and no one can come in. 366 people have died in Italy. Infections are spiking, and the lockdown is sparking widespread panic. Thousands tried to flee south to escape being isolated. Mike Drolet spoke to a Canadian woman living in Italy about the confusion and the chaos.
On any given day, this Venice piazza would be packed, the cafes bustling and Grand Canal overflowing with tourists. Instead, it stood as a stark example of how hard COVID-19 has hit Italy.
Ma io vi vedo, vi sono vicino.
Sunday morning, for the first time ever, Pope Francis delivered his Sunday prayer via video link. He admitted to feeling caged as he looked out the window to a crowd of a sparse few hundred where normally thousands congregate.
I think the coronavirus is an exaggeration, so I think they're overdoing it, so it should come out like it does every Sunday.
Frustration abounds, but Italy has seen more COVID-19 cases than any other country in Europe. Its strain has now been traced to a car parts manufacturer in Germany. And after weeks of trying to contain the virus, Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte has announced unprecedented new restrictions affecting the areas around Milan and Venice.
Stiamo affrontando un'emergenza nazionale
We are facing a national emergency, he said, before outlining how 16 million people, roughly a quarter of the population, would be quarantined for at least a month. Alitalia has since announced it has suspended all flights to and from Milan and Venice. Schools, gyms, museums, and clubs are also closed, and anybody wanting to leave will have to get special permission. Italians have also been told to stay 1 meter away from others and to refrain from shaking hands or greeting others with the customary kiss on the cheek. The news leaked out before the official announcement, creating an overnight furor that saw many Italians try to get out before the roads were closed.
But the people down south are saying, please don't come down south because you're going to be infecting us. So there's a lot of confusion and mass hysteria at this point.
Canadian expat Margot Bellani says the rules are unclear, or at least they're not being followed everywhere. That it's gone this far speaks to Italy's desperation to contain the virus, but it remains to be seen if such dramatic measures can be enforced. Mike Drolet, Global News, Toronto.